For the first time in 2 weeks, the third-ranked Lynchburg Hornets take the home turf on a splendid Saturday night in the Hill City. The Bridgewater Eagles are looking to capture their first ever win at Schellenberger Field after tying their best start in program history. Hornets and Eagles ready to fly in this edition of ODAC Men's Lacrosse. Hi everybody, welcome in. My name is Evan Gates, spending this Saturday night with you, and it really feels like we are in store for a treat. ODAC Lacrosse is back. It's the heart of the season, and you recognize there's a lot to play for, and a Hornet squad that understands national title implications certainly feel within their grasp after starting 6-1 this season. Let's take a look at some of the stats coming into this contest, and you'll understand why the Hornets have really started flirting with the top spot in the nation, averaging 18 goals per game. Face-offs have really been their friend, especially when you look at Bridgewater averaging just about 38%, and then the ground ball game as well. Top 30 in the nation for the Hornets, and they have continued to climb in that category. The Eagles are going to have to bring the fight to the Hive because Lynchburg understands if they just play their game and do what they've done all season long, they really feel like they're in a good spot as we head into the stretch. Getting ready for the national anthem here in the Hill City, so we'll step aside for a moment. Schellenberger Field is ready to erupt, and we're excited to get ready for this one. Stick with us. Welcome back to Lynchburg, Virginia. Just getting set for Lynchburg taking on Bridgewater. And here's a player to watch for the opposition. Isaac Beals, in his sophomore season, comes into this one with 15 goals and 7 assists on the season. He got 17 starts during his freshman campaign as well. So it really feels like Coach Mick Grant's blueprint is going to revolve around some of the young talent, especially at that attacking position. For Lynchburg, you're looking at a National Player of the Week and Riley Hastings, who has had himself a start to the season, 26 goals and 13 assists. And the senior from Alpharetta, Georgia, really is in good company when you look at what he has accomplished so far. A former second-team All-American and 8 goals versus CNU earlier in the season. That's tied for second most by Hornet in a single game. His teammate, by the way, had 9 earlier in the season as well. If you remember anything about Will Rubley's performance, then that is certainly just a sign of what is to come for this attack. Now we're going to take a look at the starters coming into this one. We'll start with the Eagles, and they come into this contest missing their key piece for the face-offs. There's going to be no number 19, Killian Cropful, so it's going to really come down to Colt Short's contributions. Number 45, the defender, has also taken over 70 face-off attempts this year, but those numbers for the Eagles have really been a struggle that they will have to overcome. Ian Cook is the anchor in goal, and then the attack that is spearheaded by Jake Wagner and Luke Wendler. For Lynchburg, this is a side that is led by several veterans. It's a familiar 10 on your screen. Eric Allen will start in goal for this one. We've seen attack coming left, right, and center with Riley Hastings, Spencer Vandenberg delivering contributions, and of course, it has been a stellar defense as well. A Hornets team that clears it well. They run and gun, and they feel like back on their home turf. As we said, really their only home game for about a month span. They're going to try to use the Saturday night energy to their advantage, and it feels like they are ready to go here in the Hive. If you're just tuning in, my name's Evan Gates, and excited to describe the action to you. This is a Lynchburg team that has never lost to Bridgewater, 11-0 in the series history. It dates back to the start of Mick Grant's tenure with the Eagles, now in his 14th season. 94-112 is the record for the man at the helm. And, of course, Steve Kadelka in his 30th season with Lynchburg, 372 wins, looking to make it a 13th consecutive NCAA appearance, a baker's dozen. The Hornets, as they trot out for their starting lineups, are in good company, as we said, but it starts with the culture and has led to championship aspirations. And so far, earlier this season, it feels like Lynchburg has been the force to beat, and certainly a team that you have to overcome in the path to the ODAC title game. We know the Hornets weren't able to capture it last year. Washington and Lee came away with the victory, but the Generals have only started 4-4 to begin this year. They finished last season at 17-4, so they'd have to win out to have an equivalent mark, and you feel like if Lynchburg can do what they've done throughout the year, they have a very good chance at coming away with the victory. But they've got to take care of the ODAC regular season slate first, and it's going to start here in this game against Bridgewater. Eagles ready to go as they meet the Hornets at the center circle. Lots of energy, as we said, and certainly anticipated in a game like this. You don't necessarily want to say renewed rivals, but there aren't many friends in the conference when you're playing at a level like Lynchburg has in recent years. They have transcended to a new level this season, ranked third in the nation, and at this point in the year don't have the official statistics, but it doesn't feel like Lynchburg has been in that top trio for quite some time. They're looking to capture something special, and as the sun sets on the horizon here in the Hill City, we're just ready to wake up. It's a fresh 60 minutes on the way. Lynchburg taking on Bridgewater, and here we go. Opening face-off, as anticipated, goes Lynchburg's way, and if they can dominate that stat category, it's going to be a long day in the office for the Eagles. They're going to get it started as immediately entering is Cam Ash. Of the ball on his stick, and the reversals begin. This Hornets team just so poised. They'll continue to fire around the horn as Holman goes the opposite direction. You think about how Lynchburg has commanded their opponent's attention. It does start in the face-off circle, but it's also limiting the mistakes. This is a Bridgewater team that commits over 18 turnovers per game and unable to erase the opening fire. Lynchburg on the board. Cole Prandy makes it 1-0. And the Hornets have stung first. You really expect this Hornets team to jump out in a hurry, as they have done that against several opponents in recent memory. Go back to last year's game against Bridgewater. The Hornets, as they just did, scored in the opening minute and never trailed, en route to a 19-6 win. Bridgewater now far side. Riley Stewart trying to set up the offense as they look the opposite way. Now to Connor Warren. One-on-one, trying to get some isolation, nothing doing. Fans on the near side of Schellenberger Field dealing with that sun setting again, and it's a great problem to have as we turn the clocks back into the 7 o'clock hour. Sun still up in the sky. The spring season quickly sprinting forward, and before you know it, it's going to be postseason time. Eagles looking the opposite direction. spin move, and Warren able to hold his balance for the moment. Now trying to converge, and the tussle right by the goal. Lynchburg takes possession. The Hornets, when they can muscle through, are definitely a tough team to defend. See the speed as Parker Seeley ready to fire. Extra pass near side. Now over the top. Seeley can't connect this time. First save of the day in goal. Ian Cook has played all but 12 minutes for the Eagles, and now they get the clear going the other way. Jake Wagner, one of the primary attackers for this team, 12 goals on the year. They'll fire back to Warren. Pair of W's up top, Luke Windler, Jake Wagner. Really a vision for the future, as we discussed earlier. Windler, a senior. One of the veterans trying to lead that attack, and not just this season, but into the future, as Bridgewater still a very young program. Mick Grant, the only coach in the program's history. Eagles equalize, and a quick stinger. Shot goes to Isaac Beals, the player to watch, and all of a sudden Lynchburg gonna have to go and gain that advantage again. This Bridgewater team understands the longer that you can stay in the fight, trying to get your opponent to down, it's gonna be a little bit of an easier way to get there, but obviously Lynchburg has been tried and tested throughout the season. I don't think they're gonna get rattled about early lead swings. If you remember the last time on the home turf facing Denison, a game that's decided by a single goal. That's the experience you get playing such a tough non-conference slate. Lynchburg already early in the season playing 3 ranked opponents as Bridgewater decides to call timeout. Coach Mick Grant wanting to talk things over early here on Schellenberger. We'll step aside for a moment. 11:49 to go in the first quarter, tied up at 1 apiece. Bridgewater coaching staff calling a timeout early in this one. Just a few minutes have erupted from the opening 15-1 apiece is where we sit on the scoreline. Eagles taking on Hornets. Bridgewater starts with possession. There's a look at Coach Mick Grant, as we previously discussed. 14th season. Former captain for the Hampton-Sydney men's lacrosse team, as there's a little extra contact. Hornets all around it. Only able to deny for the moment. Now an opportunity for Luke Windler. The shot takes a deflection and a long one. It'll roll out on that near side. Bridgewater liking the aggression to get things started. Of course, in goal for the Hornets, it's Eric Allen, the junior from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Atlee product, also played volleyball in high school. You think about those athletes in goal. You have to be so versatile and also just have the coordination. Sometimes it's simple as that. This time the bouncer misses the frame. Collected on the other side by Beals. Don't want to give your opponent many second chances. Now the shot clock at 20. Moving forward was Nugent. Gonna have to find a shot sooner rather than later. Back up top. Eagles 6 on the shot clock. Quick one. Unable to find the net from Cooper Hahn, and that is going to be a reset of the shot clock. Goes back to 60. So the Eagles catch a clean break. Talked about it on that last sequence. You don't want to give many second chances. Currently, Lynchburg sitting in third in the ODAC at 6-1, but that means nothing before the conference slate begins. And these next few weeks will give us a little more of a blueprint. Hornets and Generals have been on a crash course the last few years as an opportunity right on the doorstep. Doesn't fall for Beals, had to stay right outside the crease. Lynchburg looking to clear the other direction. Quick steps from Luke Meadows, centers up with the pass. Now they'll go to Riley Hastings. Riding the new play, and you can't say enough about what this young man has accomplished. Here's another look at the shot from Beals. Off balance, trying to just flick it in. Almost throwing it like a frisbee. Instead, Lynchburg working the other direction. Here's Liam Holman ready to fire, and just above the top shelf. Out of bounds, Hornets keep possession. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Schellenberger Field, LHSN and Flo College. We got a good one here on this Saturday night. Bridgewater trying to spark an upset. Lynchburg, several opportunities in this possession. Another shot from Liam Holman. This is a Hornets team that averages just south of 50. Nice spin move from Hastings. The delivery over the top, and crashing through is Luke Meadows. On the board with his second goal of the season. The Lynchburg product. Hornets take a 2-1 lead. Beg your pardon on that last one. That was Will Rubley. It's on the 3, not the 7. Double digits for the sophomore of Vienna, Virginia. That's goal number 21. They got blackjack, and mentioned 9 of them happened in the same game earlier this year. That is just an impressive feat for any lacrosse player. And sometimes you see that on teams where the attack is spearheaded by 1 or 2 contributors. This is a Lynchburg team that is very balanced. And to get 9 goals in one game, that was against Pfeiffer, is something that almost never happens. Hornets extra aggression, everyone starting to swarm, and now it's tricky. The Hornets a scoop and perhaps the score on the other side. Will Rubley just really showing that speed on full display. Felt like the entire Wolfpack was starting to swarm, and as Bridgewater retreated, didn't bode well that time. 3-1 Hornets. Here's a second look, and when you look at just how clean the shot attempt was, it was because all the defenders were behind. Bridgewater caught napping, and back to the face-off X we go. The Hornets will take it again. Riley Frankel putting on a clinic to get this game started. Hornets moving quickly, an early shot. Brody Mason almost stole one to make it 4-1. Instead, the Hornets will reset. Now moving far side, it's Vandenberg. Gonna get it back, look to move towards the center, of pump fake. Goes across his body, stopped right at the line. Another opportunity for Ian Cook. Coach Steve Kadelka and company animated on the sidelines, trying to get those extra instructions out there. And with the way that Lynchburg has started to increase the hustle, you understand why. Sensing they can perhaps jump away early in this first quarter. Bridgewater equalized at 1 apiece, and it really felt like they had a little extra momentum on their sideline. Now working to Jake Wagner. One-on-one occupied by Kyler Mahoney. Now going to go the opposite direction. Ready to spin. Does get by. The ball is free, rolling to the far sideline. Opportunity for Bridgewater to keep it. Shot clock at 30. Extra pass right in front of the goal, ripped aside. Luke Wendler on the board for Bridgewater. Luke Wendler on the season, now at 14 goals, 7 assists to go with it. He was third on the team with 21 during his rookie year back in 2023. Starting 52 of his 55 appearances for the Eagles. And you think about a consistent fixture in the lineup as Lynchburg almost gives it away. He has been there and done that. Mahoney works up the field. Now chance for Liam Holman. Jogs across the timeline. Now chance for Rubley. Spinning and still searching. Lynchburg goes other side. Holman. From the top, a quick step, ready to fire. The extra pass back to Rubley. Pops the net again. The sophomore having an explosion in this first quarter. What an impressive story he has been this year. Came off the bench for his first 2 games of the season. He's started ever since. The fight for performance, perhaps a confirmation of what to expect. All of a sudden, Lynchburg starting to really wake up in this first quarter. Team ranked 3rd in the nation. Shot disrupted this time. Extra contact on that near corner. The size from Lynchburg. Will Hicks starting the attack the opposite direction. Now pass to the left. Here's Hastings up top. Tries to deliver right in front of the crease, and Parker Seeley almost had it. Door slammed shut. Bridgewater looking to clear the opposite direction. For the moment, struggling to hold on to it. Wendler will at far side. Lynchburg leading 4-2. There's another look. A nice save right on the doorstep. Ian Cook's total is going to have to climb, and he's going to have to be very impressive in this contest for Bridgewater to stay in it. Lynchburg already has a hat trick from Will Rubley. This time stopped by Eric Allen. Will the total continue to accelerate? Hornets, a team that have easily put up some crooked numbers in a hurry throughout the season, averaging 18 goals per game. Now ready to run again. Opportunity as they pass to the left. Shot sniffed out again by Cook. It's been stellar to get this one underway. Senior from Alexandria. Now the other side. Bouncer misses the frame from C.J. McKnight. Spotswood High School product. Doesn't get on the board often, known for his defense. Eagles keep possession down a pair. Bridgewater, a team that had its best start in program history, tied the 2018 mark of 5-0. Obviously going to experience a little bit of turbulence when you approach ODAC play, knowing how tough your opponents will be, no matter how much of a prestige you have built. This Bridgewater team is still on the up. Young and developing. Lynchburg has continued to boast those championship aspirations. mentioned why not now? A season that has set themselves up beautifully. Chance for Beals, trying to wrap around the entire way. Narrow miss. The ball creeps all the way back to the Lynchburg sideline. They'll take over. 3:36 to go in the first quarter. Kidelka and the coaching staff trying to sport them into motion. There's another look at that shot, and from our vantage point, hard to tell how it missed. Ash with the pass right behind. Rubley was looking for number 4. Won't happen this time. Bridgewater quick clearing the other direction. Two teams that love to get down the field in a hurry. When you look at the matchup card, you almost feel like because Lynchburg is such a strong clearing team that Bridgewater enjoys that style of play. They can embrace transition. They reset up top. Tristan Lee. Now wider passing, trying to draw the defense out. All the way back to Lee, up top to Ward. Trying to get past Parker Seeley, who in his senior season has emerged as a potential All-UNAC first-teamer again. Did it last year. Extra move, Eagles thought about the long shot and miscommunication as the pass goes all the way to the students. You hate to have turnovers in a game like this, but when you're beating yourself, you really feel like that's even worse of a scenario. Now Holman keeps the run going. Shot placed in a low slot. Couldn't make it happen this time. Eagles running into all sorts of trouble. Flag in the air, frustrations on one side. Bridgewater ready to pounce. Extra pass, the shot misses to the left. Knew they could take that one with the call ensuing. Riley Stewart is ready to fire, and that'll earn a little extra aggression from the maroon and gold. Will Rubley in the box, man up opportunity for Bridgewater. This is a Bridgewater team that has loved their man-up chances. They just haven't been able to convert them. 24% when they're playing in the power play, and that clearly won't bode well against tougher opponents. Got to take everything Lynchburg gives you in a game like this, especially having Rubley on the side right now, someone who has torched you on the offensive end. Extra passing from the Eagles. Only down 4-2 in the early going. Closer to the goal, another one that narrowly misses to the left corner. Bridgewater keeps possession. Beals, extra pass up top. Continuing around the horn and peppers the net. Third goal of the evening. This time, Luke Wendler has another quick one to draw within one. Smooth operation from Bridgewater, who could really sense that they needed a goal at this right time, and within 90 seconds to go for the first quarter, they have a chance to be knotted up with the number 3 team in the nation. Consider the fact Lynchburg has almost exclusively taken over the face-offs. They'll earn another one. Bridgewater missing their key face-off man. Today it's been Colt Short, sophomore from Earlville, Maryland, who has really encountered the task of going against Riley Franco, who's dominated throughout the year, over 60%. Hornets working from the top within the final minute now. Extra motion, pocket picked for the moment. Bridgewater looking to come away with it cleanly. Scramble, and Lynchburg somehow earning it back. Perhaps a little bit of good luck. Extra one to Rubley. He's ready for number 4 and goes downstairs. What can he do? This one looking oddly reminiscent of a performance earlier in the season. And Will Rubley, the first 14 and a half minutes now, has 4 goals. .32 seconds to go. Well, Rubley, the sophomore from Vienna, Virginia. His brother Mark on the team as well. 2 goals, 3 assists on this season. Think about the family affairs and how it makes it happen. Riley Hastings doing it for the white and red. Adds another in no time. And the Eagles, shouts quickly becoming whispers on the other side. Now a 3-goal lead heading into the final quarter, and Lynchburg perhaps has time to scratch off one more. It is incredible just how quickly this team can take advantage. Looking for another face-off victory. Hornets ready to run again. Look to their left. Wasted no time. A strike within seconds. Riley Hastings goes back to back. Think about how impressive of a sequence that can be. Starts with Frankel, a quick pass, and another lightning bolt. 7-3. We mentioned Lynchburg might have one more chance in store. They might have another opportunity waiting. 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Hornets on the run. Hastings wants one more pass to Rubley. Down to the ground, and Bridgewater evades more trouble. The Hornets a touchdown in the first quarter. Bridgewater drew within 1, and Lynchburg took the rest of the story. Fun stuff from Schellenberger Field in the first 15 minutes. 7-3, Lynchburg. Will Rubley and Riley Hastings have combined for 6 of Lynchburg's 7 goals in the first quarter. They lead Bridgewater 7-3. LHSN and Flo College bringing you this edition of ODAC Men's Lacrosse. Opportunity for the Hornets to move on up to 7-1 on the season. It has been a fantastic start against some of the nation's best, and they have been on the road for quite some time. That's really the price to pay when you're one of the premier teams. It was a trip up to Maryland, where Lynchburg has really played some of the top 10 teams in the nation, and they've had some big-time results. Looking back to some of the victories, of course, one to remember for the rivalry's sake, toppling Christopher Newport. It's always been the Blue Bloods that you've had to face in a Lynchburg uniform, CNU, W&L, and feel like there's a chance to erase both acronyms this year. The Hornets putting on a scoring clinic to open up the second quarter. It's more of it. Finn Schmidt on the board, 8-3. New rotation on the attacking side. Schmidt comes away with his first score. Mentioned Will Rubley had 4 in the first quarter. It has been efficiency as well for the Hornets throughout the year. 8 goals on 17 shots right now, just dipping below 50% in that shot percentage category. But this is a team that, as we said, has really scored in bunches. 37% on the season, and they have just had all the opportunities they've wanted. Another face-off. Lynchburg 8 for 11 from the X in that first quarter. It just goes to show how talented Riley Frankel can be when he brings to the table for this Hornets team. In fact, he didn't even play last time out against Averett. This Hornets team swapped goalkeepers as well. They're feeling extra well rested. Bridgewater ready to run the other direction. Costly turnover, but another one. The pass that sails over the head of who looks to be Jacob Karpin. Beg your pardon, that's Jake Wagner, number 9. So Lynchburg now with their chance to quickly move down the field. Sun's starting to set here in the Hill City. Bridgewater hopes to hold it off for a little bit longer. And this Lynchburg team starts to outpace you. They can quickly get ahead and never look back. Now a 5-goal lead and looking to extend. Extra pass and a low-lying shot. Won't strike gold this time. Cam Ash, the junior, trying his luck for goal number 9. Here's one. Connect the dots. Not a long wait that time. Liam Holman able to pop the net for a 9th. That time, not much you can do as a goalkeeper. Almost flat-footed. And Holman strikes again, came into this one with 14 goals and 10 assists. Despite starting just 2 games last year, he tallied 36 goals and 24 assists, and it has been an impressive surge. Hornets back with possession, up 6. Another one, Parker Sealy puts it between the pipes. Double figures for Lynchburg early in the second quarter. What seemed to be a tight fight to start this game has quickly left the station. The Hornets have pounced to a 7-goal lead. And watch this extra pass from Rubley. Sealy stands right in place. As easy as a turnaround jumper. And the Hornets now shooting exactly 50%. 10 goals and 20 shots. And motoring through the faceoffs that they've had. Bridgewater able to get this one. Quick takeaway, moving the other direction. Hornets look to go over the top. Vandenberg, left, right, and right through. Glenview, Illinois native, able to get his first of the contest. How often have we seen the quick scoring from Lynchburg as their passing has gotten very crisp in the past few minutes? Vandenberg in a senior season, someone you can really rely on in the shooting department, 39% last year to tallied 20 goals with 7 assists, and he's someone for the Hornets who was relied upon early in his career. As a freshman, recorded hat tricks against 2 of the top 10 teams in the nation. So not only getting the playing time, but also the reps against tough opponents. Riley Hastings playing a game of hide and seek right in front of the crease, just couldn't come away with it. Now Bridgewater will try to slow things down. Really just have to get your heart rate back. Lynchburg has dominated the tempo the past few minutes, forcing turnovers and almost another one. Unforced errors really starting to haunt Bridgewater. They'll take over towards the near sideline. Now some redirection from the sideline. Coach Kadelka and company, you see everyone getting involved. It's what the great teams do. Obviously, you have the head coach, you have the direction that has led this program to where it's at, being a top 10 team, but it's the assistants that have really helped things out. The day-to-day, trying to innovate, not just stay stuck in place. Hornets have done a superb job of it. Road doesn't get any easier throughout the season. Bridgewater exclusively into that ODAC slate. Lynchburg have a little bit of non-conference action coming up. Extra pass from Warren. Just no space to operate. Shot misses, trails towards the corner. .59 to go in the second. 11-3 Lynchburg. For tuning in, Hornets third in the nation. Bridgewater has to let this one go. The clock will hit 0. Bridgewater, a team that just barely missed the ODAC tournament last year. Finishing 9th with a 5-12 record. They're on pace to have a winning mark this year. It could be the first time since 2022. Retained so much of their talent at the top. 8 players had started every contest for Bridgewater last year. As another shot finds where it belongs. Lynchburg adds another. Caden Hinchy, a senior from Connecticut, with goal number 5. Moving back to our thoughts about Bridgewater, 8 players played every contest. 7 of them are back for this season. So consistent pieces. Problem with this game against Lynchburg is even the consistent ones haven't been able to find extra luck. It really took a turn middle of the first quarter. Bridgewater had made it a 4-3 game, trailing by just a goal. Now you look at the board, 12-3. Lynchburg speeding ahead. Face-offs battle in that first quarter. Lynchburg dominated 8 of the 11. And it's a stat that Bridgewater's struggled with game to game. They haven't had a single contest out of their 8 where they have won the face-off battle. Obviously, without your main starter, that has also been an extra problem. Played Hampton-Sydney last time out, and it was a big struggle. One of the top teams in the conference for a reason, as Bridgewater fell in that one 16-1. Hornets extra pass, ready to rip. This has just quickly gotten away from Bridgewater. Not much else to describe. Van Tangwe puts one in. 13th goal of the day for the hometown crew. Massachusetts native puts in his 4th goal of the season. Hornets with another. Riley Frankel makes it look simple. Tried another quick strike. Won't come to fruition this time, but the Hornets keep possession. Working from the near side. Few extra steps this time, in and out of the stick of the goalkeeper, Cook. Scramble for it right in front of the crease. Cook looks to go over the top, the pass all the way down the field, and a dominant encounter. Kyler Mahoney saw it the entire way and earns possession back for the Hornets. Now another quick pass, looking to weave through traffic. They'll hold on to it, moving back behind the goal of Brandy, who got the party started. Here's Holman. Back to the front, another shot, another goal. Simple stuff from Finn Schmidt. Catonsville, Maryland native. Third teamer last year in the conference. Mentioned the scoring was balanced. Well, it has been everywhere for the Hornets here in these last 15 minutes. Lynchburg has never lost in the 11 all-time meetings between these two teams. Scoring 16 or more in all of them and trending in a similar direction this time. Another face-off win. Shot spiked and moves over the goal. Rocco Egan trying his luck. Now extra movement. Once again, time as they look back outside. The spin and the win. Caden Henshey writing a little extra English. The attack almost exclusively starting up front. Get your skates out. Henshey, the senior, just very agile and very smooth. To put it in the back of the net. Tucks away another one. The lead is a dozen. The question marks are very few. This Hornets team showing exactly who they are. Team under Coach Steve Kadelka that is looking for its 13th consecutive NCAA appearance. This time, opportunity denied. Will pop all the way back to midfield. Eric Allen did well to slide down to the turf. Bridgewater able to come away with the ground ball. Will Hicks ready to create a traffic jam. Bridgewater still finding their way through. Eagles will get the whistle and they'll set up back up top. 7:20 and change to go here in the second quarter. Hornets already at 28 shots. Extra pass, now time. Unfortunately, Beals left something very important. The Hornets stormed away with it. Pass down the field, now they'll step back outside. Mark Rubley had his pocket picked. Hornets working towards the goal. And they'll slow it down. New faces into the mix. Drew Schmidt working from that left side. We'll go back up top to Hudson Royer. Working all the way around the carousel. Quincy White muscling through trouble and almost had a highlight. Wow. That is weight room material. Lynchburg will have a second take. Looking for the spin around shot. They go back up top. Extra footsteps all the way down the hallway, but no chance for Finn Schmidt. Rubley redirects up top. Quincy White wants another. Moves towards his right. Keeps going. Extra pass. Spin right in front of the crease. Some extra contact. And Bridgewater this time able to get the denial. Here's a second look at it, and somehow the ball didn't sneak through. Hudson Royer had to deal with perhaps a bruise tomorrow morning. Now Bridgewater able to escape, working towards the goal. The extra pass far side, and the shot just ricochets off. It was a fun start for Isaac Beals, as quickly turned into a troubling encounter. Hasn't had many clear lanes. Opportunities for Bridgewater still running, and a very strong move. Jake Wagner, sophomore from Delaware, adds another. And 19 goals as a freshman. Already working his total up from 12 to now 14 on the year. That will actually be Wagner's first of the day, so make it 13 on the season for the sophomore. Safe to say Bridgewater likely not worried about the individual stats right now. This is a team that knows they're wanting to get back to the ODAC tournament. Just missed it last year. Obviously, these are those trials you have to go through. Learning against the best and the biggest moments. Team maintained its top 3 scorers from last season. Mentioned all of that consistency. Great coaches are able to reload. It's going to be an interesting offseason after this one. Bridgewater wanting to use every bit of talent they have. Finn Schmidt down Main Street for another. What a showing he has had. The senior has only made 4 appearances on the year. He didn't make one until the CNU game on March 13th. So a late arrival, and he has not missed a beat since returning to the turf. For a Lynchburg team that, as we've said, has already found success to start the year, they're only getting better. Brody Mason working far side. Now the pass up the field to Schmidt, and they will redirect. Mark Rubley. Hogg. Working near side and will scurry out. Hornets already at 16 goals here in this first half. Schmidt redirects. You can just feel on the prowl this offense getting closer and closer. Extra pass, do they want the shot? Look to go over the top, and the ball evades everyone. Pass back up top, and Finn Schmidt, who is in this new rotation, you can almost understand is just trying to get reps back on the field. Has to hurry. 4 on the shot clock. 2. And Lynchburg's going to be denied. Toss this one to the corner. Better defense that time for Bridgewater. Down a dozen with 2:40 to go here in the first half. They'll earn a few extra trots up the field. This Eagles team was looking to avoid back-to-back losses for the first time this season, and losing in the fashion that they did to Hampton-Sydney 16-1. You don't want another result like that. Might be leaving confidence a little bit lower, but you understood coming into this week it would be a tough one in the regular season. Feel like you're almost superpowered going into the next few weeks against opponents in the middle of the conference that you know you can beat. Those are the ones that will really impact the standings later on. Now a scramble for it. The track race is on. Pass up the field. Mark Rubley has to work through contact. This time saved by Cook. Almost lost it. Rubley really just looking to slow the game down and had an unfortunate bounce. Now Bridgewater not going anywhere. Wyatt McNamara, the freshman, all sorts of trouble around. Royer outside to Finn Schmidt. There's Quincy White. Powered through earlier, almost one of the plays we would remember for a long time. Lost his defender. White has an option. Stung that one all the way to the back net. Lynchburg will have another go. Shot clock inside of 40. Game clock inside the final minute. Rubley reversing. Spin move. Schmidt loses the defender. Unfortunately, Cook was right there. Well, Bridgewater have one final possession. Lynchburg certainly looking to add a little extra pressure in a half that has been very complete. First few minutes were close. Ever since, this game has belonged to the hometown team. 10 seconds left. Hornets want one more. Seeley to the right side of the net. All Udak first teamer. An extra decoration to end a solid first half for this Lynchburg team. How many shots has Seeley been able to execute from that very spot? Center of the field. Was that an early knockout blow? A Bridgewater team now trailing by 13. Just one goal in the second quarter. Elongated face-off, that's where the half ends. Some extracurriculars perhaps in the final ticks. The Hornets doing exactly what you would expect. 17 goals in the first half. It started with Will Rubley's 4 in the first quarter, and it's continued with the entire committee putting on a show. Up a baker's dozen here in the Hill City. We'll have some halftime stats and analysis on the other side. An offensive onslaught has taken over Schellenberger Field. The Lynchburg Hornets showing up and showing out. First quarter, it was a one-goal game. All of a sudden, had a 3 beside it. 13-goal deficit for Bridgewater to try and overcome. And the scoring up and down the board as the Hornets have used their committee effort to move out in front. 17 goals, a very impressive mark for this stage as we open up the third quarter. We'll take a look at stats in a moment, but I think the scoreboard tells you all you need to know. Lynchburg has really dominated this affair from the start, and the face-offs also something that has really gone their way. 18 for the Hornets, just 5 for Bridgewater. Hence the reason Hornets are starting with the ball in their sticks, moving left to right. Certainly what will be a good tune-up as they enter ODAC play. They've played just about every Giant in D3 to start the season. 3 ranked opponents and another score on the board. This time belongs to Ryan Hildbrand. Take a second look at it, and it is impressive. It'll actually belong to Van Tengwe, so his second of the contest. 3 goals coming into this one is already added, almost doubled that season total. Ready for another face-off inside the opening minute. The second half, Hornets able to dig it out. At full steam ahead. Josh Caramagno in for the Hornets with the face-offs, extra reps. So Riley Frankel's day likely done as we enter the second half. Mentioned he didn't play against Averett. Trying to rest him up as much as you can. Hornets trying to add another. That time it was Quincy White just off the mark. Hornets fake the pass, go back out top. White ready to move again. Trying to sprint towards the center. Extra pass. Hesitations from Lynchburg, and the timing almost to perfection. Adam Volm just off the mark. Now Bridgewater looking to escape out the other side. Lynchburg has dominated every category. Another one we mentioned with the face-offs is also ground balls. They had 32 of them in that first half. Their average on the season, 43 per game, 17th in Division III. A few extra whistles. Ian Cook, 10 saves in between the pipes for Bridgewater. Did allow those 17 goals, and obviously you're going to do what you can against a team that loves to shoot at a very high rate. Extra aggression near side. Bridgewater trying to find their way back. Jake Wagner. Wraparound pass, clean shot right into the stick of the keeper. Peyton Garwood in for the Hornets now, so starting to go through their different rotations. And a day that has very much belonged to Lynchburg. It's the way they have handled it that has been so impressive. Obviously, His first few minutes, really the only turbulence they've experienced. But even then, never lost the lead. Pass over the top. Few fakes in the spin. Now a dish to the right. Nathan Miller. Shot clock down to 10. Lynchburg tried to thread the needle. The pass right to the middle. Sneaks out. Now chance for Landon Blackshear. Moving towards the right side of the field, where Bridgewater has been constantly trying to explore. Obviously, that has just been one of those games you feel like you've struggled to gain momentum after losing it. This is an Eagles team that lost one of its premier defenders from last year, the only all-conference selection, Ryan Addison. Now moving from the top, and that is too much contact. Lynchburg out the back door, ready to explode, and the shot just too steep of a bounce. Here's a second look. Physicality 101. Got to get used to that when you play a Hornets team that is all over it. Daniel Scaparotto from Fairfax, Virginia. A few extra steps from Tengwe, one away from a hat trick. Sneaky move out on that far side from Henry Fowler. Flag comes in after. Hornets going to take advantage while they can. Rubley, other one to Schmidt. Pass right on the doorstep. There's the third. And Van Tengwe, moments to remember in this contest. Look at that quick pass and perfectly placed. Tengwe with one or two fakes, that's all he needed. Sudbury, Massachusetts native and a sophomore season. So many sophomores have just had a profound impact. Already talked about number 37 in white and red, Will Rubley. Started off this one with 4 goals very early. That Pfeiffer game earlier in the season where Lynchburg put up 24. What's even more impressive is that the Falcons were receiving votes at that time. So for the folks at home seeing the 9 goals thinking it was just a super easy matchup, think again. That was where Lynchburg really understood this could be something special. Hoping to keep the party deep into the night. The more scores and the more folks involved, the better balance this team is going to feel. Have another clear runway. Weaving out. Quick passing to go back to Morton. Now still charging. Off balance. That's a difficult shot. Looks like someone has a broken stick. It's retrieved and brought to the sideline. Five ODAC games today, and we will explore them a little later on. All in conference affairs. This one's the latest to commence, so all the others were day games starting around 1 o'clock. Good to have a night game back here in Lynchburg. When you think about spring sports, it's a little bit different than the fall season where everything is here at Schellenberger. You've got Moonfield and Foxfield for the softball and baseball teams respectively, and so you only get lacrosse out here on the big rectangle. Shot just off the mark. Adam Volm looking for his first. Another shot that falls off the mark or out of the stick. Now a chance. Mikey Richardson redirecting. Here's White. Moving to his right, the extra one. Motion all around, and that is where this possession will expire. Lynchburg wanted to try and use those final few seconds. Couldn't do so successfully. Now a run right along that near sideline. Then Santilli. Back to Beals. Primary starters still in the game for Bridgewater, and they still haven't been able to find that success you would expect as another shot rattles to the other side of the field. Hornets after this one will have a date with Roanoke in a week's time. There's a hostile environment and always a renewed rivalry, the Battle of 460. It always feels like there's another chapter waiting. It's going to be a special one. And Coach Pilot, no longer the coach at Roanoke, ended his tenure after retiring, and you feel like the culture likely going to stay exactly where it's at for a team that's rich in tradition for the Maroons. It's got to be an interesting feel in Salem as well with the new football team in town, and obviously lacrosse. When you think about Lynchburg in the spring season, really is talk of the town. Just a special environment as that one rips off the carpet and in. Liam Crawford, little extra theatrics, a big 2-0 on the scoreboard. Second look, an extra point for the celebration. There is a reason that this team gathers as much attention as it does. The entertainment value has been there all year long, as you see 10 different goal scorers for Lynchburg on the night. Similar to the women's game earlier today as the Hornets took off against Eastern Mennonite, winning by over 20 in that contest, as the Hornets trending in a similar direction for this one. Bridgewater really had a few words in the first quarter. They've quickly turned to whispers. Still running is Rubley and almost rattles this one in. Cook goes downstairs to save it. Bridgewater now going to try and clear as we're just about 5 minutes away from ending the third quarter. Costly pass up the field. Rubley denies it, and Lynchburg has numbers. Eli now the pass right into the middle and off the mark from Mikey Richardson. Strong charge. Better shot. Finn Schmidt on the board again. What can he do? 27 in white and red, putting on a stellar performance. Blackjack for the Hornets, 21-4. For 10 different scores, the way that they've done it and the efficiency they've had, this team has to feel very nice about the performance they've put on. First half and goal for Eric Allen. Only allowed 4 goals. Baden Garwood so far so good. Hasn't allowed one. Finn Schmidt, by the way, just continuing to erupt. 7 points, 4 goals, and 3 assists. This time, shot takes a high ricochet into the stick of Cook, and watch out. Hornets were charging, ultimately get it back, and Alex Morton picks up the rock. Seven points for Schmidt, 5 for Riley Hastings, 2 goals, 3 assists. Will Rubley also with 6, 4 goals, and 2 assists. Hat-trick affairs across the board as this pass from White will run out of room. Coach Steve Kudelka looking for win number 373. Long Valley, New Jersey native, and when you experience success as a program, sometimes you forget just how special of an experience it can be. This is a perennial powerhouse at Lynchburg, but it's the fact that there is always a little bit more left in the tank as too much contact is generated that time, and no question as the Hornets will head to the sideline. There's a second look at it, and that will typically earn you a seat in the box. Jackson Scaparato. Bridgewater made up opportunity, capitalized on the first one. Lynchburg now going to have to dig deep down, have a defensive stand. Hornets third in the nation. Hard to imagine results like this would impact that in any way. Going to be very interesting as these ODAC opponents approach to see what kind of fight they have. You know it'll be close. So many of these games just build upon the intense foundation. So many people talking about Washington and Lee. Bit of a struggle to start the season 4-4, but how much will that truly impact when we get to that game? Don't think many folks in Generals Blue are thinking that they're out of that by any stretch, as another shot is just off the pipes from Jake Wagner. W&L did graduate a hefty bunch, a team that has been very formidable in the past, as Beals finally puts one on the money. 5th goal of the game for the Eagles. Here's a second look, and Garwood gives up his first of the day. 2:59 remains in the third quarter. You can do a deep dive yourself on the Lynchburg Sports website when you're looking at the schedule and what's to come. We'll inform you a little bit more. Obviously, that Roanoke game coming up Saturday, March 28th. Then it's at Virginia Wesleyan on a Wednesday at 4. Then it's on to face Stevenson. Tell you what, that trip to Virginia Beach, got to be lucky it's a 4 o'clock start time, because it is not a very quick trip back. You're playing at 7 o'clock. Let's say the game ends at 9. Good luck heading into the sleepy hours of the night. Think over the top. Hornets now around the carousel. Back-to-back 5-win seasons for Bridgewater as Lynchburg finds their 22nd of the evening window dressing here in this third quarter. Henry Fowler adds one to the tally this time. So for Bridgewater, looking at those 5-win seasons, you understand, yes, we are exactly where we need to be. We've already surpassed that mark at 6-2. But now it's all about figuring things out come conference play. Inside the final 2 minutes of the third, Bridgewater will take possession. This game at home, really the only home game within about a month span. Mentioned the next one will be Saturday, April 4th. Got an entire week off upcoming before the date with Roanoke. So you think about March quickly expiring, and then all of a sudden, that's where things really start to heat up. We keep talking about the postseason. Don't want to overwrite that narrative. But it does feel like it deserves some thought. Now, final minute, we'll see what Lynchburg draws up. White had to move that stick back to retrieve. Now trying to barrel through. Content to keep passing. Shot clock at 20. Feels like a very pedestrian attack now for Lynchburg, whereas they used the tempo in the first few quarters. White trying to go straight through. Shot clock at 5. Pass over the top, and the Hornets will let the ticker expire. Up 17. Final seconds of the quarter. Lots to look forward to, but for tonight, there's lots to enjoy on the scoreboard. The Hornets have earned every ounce of respect from this Bridgewater team. 15 minutes to go in the Hill City. Stick with us on LHSN. "15 minutes to go as we get set one more time. A look at some of the highlights as Lynchburg has really dominated this game from start to finish. 17-goal advantage now, 49 shots on the board to Bridgewater's 22. Pass to the near side. Obviously, you've gone into the different rotations. You feel like depth is important in a game like this. Can't always count on health in the postseason, and you really hope that everybody is on their A game feeling 100%, but the reality of sports is that rarely happens. Record for goals in a game by Lynchburg is 28 as they find number 23. Oh, jump man action out from the far side. This time, Brooks Griffith able to put one on the board. Goal number 2 for the Weddington, North Carolina native. To enter the top 10 list in program history, you got to score 25. So the Hornets have done that several times. It's always an interesting mark to keep your eye on. Don't think anybody on the Lynchburg sideline is too interested in the numbers by this point. They have done what they've needed to do. A lot of coaching moments in these final fourth quarters when the game is as big of a margin as it is. So the Hornets recenter up top. Drew Schmidt looks out to the far side. Goalie change for Bridgewater. Ian Cook's day is done. Zach Guthrie Pimpinella, senior from Severn, Maryland. Another one for the Hornets. This time high fives from 55 in white and red. Evan Yale, freshman out of Windham, Maine. Has to feel comfortable, and you're seeing so many of the Hornets find these open opportunities. Bridgewater, as we said, had kept in their starters for a large portion of this game. Lynchburg appreciating the effort, now up 19. For Bridgewater, next on the schedule is Shenandoah, Wednesday the 25th at 7. Coming off that 16-1 defeat against Hampton-Sydney, obviously a tough one that's trending in a not-so-fun direction tonight. Will be a get-right game. You feel like an opportunity against another middle-of-the-table opponent. Question for Bridgewater coming out of this game is how soon can they get Killian Cropful back? The junior from Newport News, Virginia. He's got a 46% face-off clip on the season, which, as we mentioned, is a number that's lower than you would like. But it's hard to also compare to Riley Frankel, who has just had a masterful season, 63%. Ultimately, you get Cropful back. A lot of positives can come with it. Eagles passing around, final 12 minutes of the game. A shot will go all the way to the far side. Off the mark by 41, Connor Warren, freshman from Virginia Beach, who started, had some opportunities, and really got the first strong chances of the game for the Eagles. Extra pass, Warren was right there, just couldn't retrieve it. Now quick steps in the other direction from Ethan Carr, delivers up front. Another move, the spin, moving right into the center. Fluid from Jack Murdoch. Beautiful footing and finishing through contact. You saw the defender, Liam Santilli, just a little too late to the party. 25, so the Hornets equalizing that top 10 list for scoring in a game. For as many strong teams as this Lynchburg program has featured in recent years, think about the record and what that means. It's just remarkable to see the fact that they're as close as they are after tying that single game record. Will Rubley able to put 9 on the board earlier in the season. That goals in a game record of 28 came back in 2022. It was at Virginia Wesleyan. Hornets now upwards of over 50 shots. Bridgewater working it around. Few quick footsteps, off balance shot. Not going to fall from Blake Sharon. Results from elsewhere today. Randolph-Macon handled business on the road at Shenandoah, 18-7. Yellow Jackets in a good spot. Washington and Lee travels to Virginia Wesleyan, topples the Marlins 24-5. Roanoke on the road at Hampton-Sydney, a 9-7 victory. That's perhaps the one to remember. Hampton-Sydney playing very well for the start of the season. The Maroons come away with it. Randolph over Averett, and Danville 10-8. So this one trending in a direction of more lopsided result. Obviously, Roanoke Hampton-Sydney, one of the main close ones of the day, as the Hornets just keep on firing. They're finding the results to go with it. Another look at the shot by Ryan Hildebrand. Mentioned his name earlier. Now he does have one to his name. And Lynchburg has 26. 9:30 to go. Hornets have never lost versus Bridgewater. This is the 12th all-time meeting. Josh Caramagno working well on the face-off attempts as well. You feel like you get those second and third strings in because you know Riley Frankel's in his senior season. Remarkable progress he has had. The successor of course, Mikey Kraus, someone you couldn't forget, went out to play in Denver. Frankel has averaged 63%, as we said, and it's second in the ODAC at this stage, but you feel like in some of these closer games, if he continues to keep that rate, it not only gives Lynchburg a chance to win, but it also bolsters the ability for these defenders to work and stay rested. You don't want to constantly be on your heels all game long. You see the streaks of 4 or 5 straight face-offs won. you can really stay calibrated. A little extra physicality that time. Clock stops at 8:12. Eagles trot back up the field. Long toss from the keeper, and it connects. Hail Mary pass. See if Bridgewater can do something with it. Recentering up front. Here's Sharon. Up top to Nugent. Going to keep the run going, and the pass misses everything. Lynchburg possession. It's been a beautiful night here in Lynchburg. Temperatures tomorrow expected to go into the high 80s, which we talked about it during the women's game earlier on. You wouldn't be surprised to see 30s or 40s again next week, but you're going to just enjoy it while you got it. If you're a fan of spring sports, likely enjoy the warmer weather. And finally here in Central Virginia, just about a week and a half ago, there was a snow dusting. It started to stick as well in the Hill City. So, like you said, never necessarily know what to expect. Enjoy it while you got it. But spring is certainly here. And the rest of the season, things only heat up, literally and figuratively. One of the shorter seasons when you look at the three, comparing fall, winter, and spring sports. Hornets will get rid of this one out on the far side. Bridgewater going to have to settle for 6-3 through 9 games, but still marked that, as we said, already eclipses their season total of wins from last season. Coach Mick Grant just 6 wins away from 100 at Bridgewater. Spent 5 years in Marywood before coming to help the Eagles out, and he helped build the program. Its inception was all the way back in 2008. And anytime you do that, you're the only coach that the program has known. It's pretty special because the culture has centered around his contributions. I think if you ask him where he wants this thing to go, it has arrived. Now it's just putting the pieces in the right spots. Great coaches are constantly evolving as well. The atmosphere and the arena that they're playing in aren't always the same. You can ask any sports coach that, as there's more stellar defense. Lynchburg looking to run, and they have space. Very nifty move to run out of trouble from Liam Crawford. Now firmly into the final 5 minutes. Hornets don't necessarily look like they're in any urgency to add to the total. Carr up top Looks to his right with the pass. Now another quick one. Go back to last year for this Lynchburg team. They reached as high as 12th in the national poll. And so when you're trying to put this into perspective, as we already have alluded to, it's a new level of success that will only mean something if they can find the success in the postseason. So while this is a great pedestal to stand on, you've got a lot of opponents that are right there in the big games. This is a team that has been to the national championship up in Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles moving with a little extra pace. Now retreating outside. 53 shots for Lynchburg, 24 for their rivals. Shot off the mark this time. Scurries all the way to the back net. Trend will continue as we already talked about. Lynchburg has scored 16 or more in every single meeting versus Bridgewater. So yes, they have won. They have also found their offense in a hurry. You'd love seeing the fight from the other rotations as well. New substitutes who are ready for their moment. Pass will sneak away. We've seen shot clock violations on either side. Inside the final 2 minutes. All told, we won't see this team back on Schellenberger for the next 2 weeks. Games with Roanoke and Virginia Wesleyan before they come home to face Stevenson. That's a Saturday at 2 p.m. So ultimately, if the Hornets can hold on and keep those 2 wins in their pocket, they'll be 7-1 after today and a chance to be 9-1 when they return to the home turf. There's a lot to look forward to. That Roanoke game certainly has to feel like it has an added incentive with the Maroons beating Hampton-Sydney on the road today. Very low-scoring affair at that as well, 9-7. Hornets will let this one rip. Content to keep the margin 26-5. And our final possession of this Saturday night, thanks to you for watching at home. What was very exciting to see the score totals. We'll go through them one more time, but obviously big contributions in the first quarter from Will Rubley and those 4 goals. And then how about Finn Schmidt coming back, started later in the season. It's really held on as the Eagles are going to miss this one. And Lynchburg is going to come away with the victory. Final ticks will bleed off the board, and that is the game. Braces from Windler and Beals for Bridgewater to make up 4 of their 5 goals, but not enough to stay in the fight. The heavyweight comes away with the victory, and Lynchburg going to enjoy this one before returning home in 2 weeks. 4 goals from Finn Schmidt and Will Rubley. Strong performance from the National Player of the Week as well. Riley Hastings, 2 goals and 3 assists. And you see on your screen. Lots of physicality. Another game that you would expect as the Hornets were running and gunning. Team that has outpaced every opponent that they've seen this year. Just one loss on the season total, and they'd like to keep it that way. They win by 21. Thanks for tuning in, and big thanks to our entire production crew for the women's game and for the men's game, and our great director, Ethan Morotsky. My name's Evan Gates, and so long from the Hill City.